I just did something really stupid in my Tacoma. Well, good morning, everybody. How are you today? That's right. I just did something really stupid in my Tacoma, right? I'm out cruising around and actually sitting at a light and did something really boneheaded, man. So let me tell you, first of all, I thought I'd share this with you guys because, you know, these things happen, and I'm curious if they happen to you as well. So I'm sitting at a stoplight, much as I am right now, right? And for those of you that don't know, I drive a 6-speed manual transmission, right? So I pull up to the light, jamming to the music, you know, doing my thing, not really paying a whole lot of attention, I guess. And apparently, I pulled up and I must have gone to neutral. I don't remember going to neutral. I didn't remember going to neutral at the time, but obviously I must have. So I'm sitting at the light and I'm actually thinking, you know, I should go to neutral and just release the clutch and sit here because it's a long light. I'm actually thinking this, right? But I don't. I decide, no, I'm not going to do that and have to screw around shifting into first and maybe have that little vapor lockout or that little hydro lock or whatever you want to call it that sometimes you get. You got to reshift a couple of times to get into first. I just didn't want to screw with it. So I sit there with my foot on the clutch thinking I'm in first gear, the light will turn green, and I'll proceed about my business. So the light turns green, I'm jamming, I'm listening to the song, I forget what was on, something rocking, you know, and the light turns green, I've got the arrow, there's of course somebody behind me, and they are very honk happy here, let me tell you. So I release the clutch, you know, do the little clutch dance and step on the gas, and nothing happens. The truck revs and I sit there. Fortunately, I'm not on an incline, so I don't start to roll backwards. But I'm thinking, you bonehead, you're in neutral. And I'm thinking, I don't even remember going into neutral, right? I mean, I'm sitting there at the light, just jamming out, doing my thing, complaining in my own head about how my leg's getting tired from holding the clutch down, thinking about shifting to neutral, didn't do it, or so I thought, I guess. I must have done it when I was rolling up to the stoplight because I do that often, and I guess it's become kind of second nature to me now. I just do it, don't think about it. But the guy behind me, that's the next thing I mentioned. They are honk happy here in the RGV. Horns get a lot of use, and of course, I get the and I'm like, first of all, it just turned green. Now, granted, probably a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds passed while I was revving my engine for them. And I'm surprised they couldn't hear that. I mean, I did hit it like I normally would, but they honk at me anyway, you know, and I'm like, and then you start panic mode, right? You're thinking, wait a minute, why am I not moving? Well, gee, I'm in neutral. I really shouldn't be moving. So, to continue the story, it doesn't end there. I go to first, right? And you know, I mentioned earlier about this lovely transmission's need somehow to lock you out here or there, and it does. I go to shift, I go to put it into first, and it doesn't go into first. It doesn't want to go into first. It's perfectly content to just sit there and have me rev the engine, right? So now I got to double clutch it, man, and I hit reverse. You're in panic mode, right? You're sitting there at the light. This is really comical. It should be a comedy skit or something, right? For those of us who are manual transmission enthusiasts, I'm sure you can relate. Well, I hope you can. So I go to shift into first. It doesn't go. And now I'm moving the clutch a little more, and I go over too far because this lovely transmission has reverse up and over, right? Not down and back like it should be, but up and over, right next to first. I hit reverse. I touch the gas. Fortunately, I didn't nail it, and I feel myself go backward. This guy's probably freaking out now. This all happened in like just a matter of a couple of seconds, so it wasn't a long, drawn-out thing, but I hit the gas. I feel the truck just ever so slightly go in reverse, like, oh crap. Then I clutch it, I pull out, I go up, I go into first, and it goes into first now because, you know, this transmission loves you to go into other gears before the first gear that you really want to go into. It goes into first. Now I'm on it. Now I'm on it, I take off, I get just the slightest amount. Wasn't like a burnout, wasn't a big screech, nothing crazy, but I get a little bit of wheel spin. Fortunately for me, I didn't get enough wheel spin where, you know, I threw anything back. Could you imagine? The guy behind me, he's probably already red, you know, because let's face it, we're impatient. When that light turns green, we want to go. We don't want to wait for that doofus in front of us to figure out how to drive his manual transmission. That's his problem. It didn't throw anything. I wasn't on a gravelly road. I didn't shower the guy behind me with rocks or anything like that, but just so stupid. And you see, because all this happened, that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, because even when you've been driving a manual transmission as long as I have, and I gotta say, it's been, man, we're starting to push 40 years. 40 years of driving a manual transmission, and I still screw it up once in a while. So my question to you guys, oh great, we're approaching another light. This time, I'm gonna go to first. Right now, we're stopped, and it went straight. Of course it went straight in. Why wouldn't it? Nothing's at stake. But I wanna know, for all you manual transmission drivers, and whether you drive it now or you've driven it in the past, doesn't really matter. Has this ever happened to you? Especially if you have a Tacoma and as finicky as the manual transmission is in this truck. Has it ever happened to you? Have you ever pulled up to a light, put it in neutral? And I know a lot of you other manual drivers out there do this. You go to neutral and you kind of coast to the light. And I know that because you tell me that. There's also some downshifters out there. And I mean, you wouldn't want to go to first when you're, you know, approaching the light before you stop, of course, but you might be in second and then go to first. But I want to know if there's anybody else out there that's done this. And I'm really curious, given the lockout first feature. It's not really a feature. I think it's just a bad meshing of the synchros in there. But if you ever still experience that problem, it has gotten better for me. I must admit, doesn't seem to happen as often. I don't know if it's the transmission or maybe it's the driver. Maybe I've just gotten a little better at, I don't know, shifting it into first and letting the synchros mesh up before I do it. I suppose that's possible. But let me know. Do you ever have any of these issues? I'd be curious. And of course, the worst is when you're sitting on an incline. I'm just glad I wasn't, because I was fully expecting the truck to take off and pull forward, right? I didn't expect to just hear the engine rev, and now I'm freewheeling. Leave a comment, let me know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, check out my other channel, all about my automatic 2020 Jeep Gladiator. That channel is RobMotive JT. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out, because you never know what might happen. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.